Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. I thought I'd finished doing videos for the day, but then news broke and I rushed up to the studio here and I'm making another one. And boy, is it a big one. Was I right on the button? Was I slam dunk this story? As you may remember, I've done several videos now on that awful organisation that calls itself a charity called Mermaids. I've said continually that they are a clear and present danger to children, that they should be disbanded, that they should lose their charitable status, and that some of those people need to be on a register because of the harm they're doing to children. Well, boy, oh boy, I think this is finally the end of Mermaids. I'm just going to say nothing more and go straight in to the headlines of this story. And wow, I was right, and boy was I right. Here goes. So for those of you who don't know, Mermaids is this charity that takes children, doesn't examine them in any way, but forces them to go down a line towards transgenderism, aids them as they want to change. It doesn't offer any kind of service of counselling or anything. It just shows them what they need to do. It hands out chest binders to girls without parental consent, and it arranges for certain chemicals to be sent to the children all along. And none of this is run, of course, by anyone medically qualified. It's all run by an IT consultant. And it was turned into a charity, and boy, are they in trouble now. Because as I've said, all of this stinks. The way they generate all this push for children, their obsession with children, and the damage that they want to do, this permanent damage they want to do, and the mass sterilisation of children. But wow, just wow. The trustee of transgender charity Mermaid resigns after giving a speech at a conference hosted by the organisation that promotes services to the P's. You can read the word. YouTube does not like me to say that word. We shall call them the P's, right? LSE professor Dr. Jacob Breslow stands down from the Mermaids trustee role. Well, stands down like he's got a choice. You can guarantee he has been told to go. And let's hope that it's at the behest of HM Plod and that he will soon be on a register. He had previously presented research at a controversial American conference. Breslow shared a paper that appears to question the understanding of P. Mermaid said it was unaware of his attendance at the 2011 symposium. Well, they say that, but to be honest, even if they were aware, it would probably make very little difference given how they treat children. So you have this guy working for this charity that sort of pushes this and damages children, harms children, and he is someone who supports the groups that, shall we say, like the younger people of this world. So a trustee of transgender children's charity Mermaids last night sensationally quit after it emerged he had spoken at an academic conference hosted by the organisation that promotes services to P's. I'd love the way they say sensationally quit, but there's no way he quit. He was fired. So Dr. Jacob Breslow, who at the time was a PhD student in gender research at the LSE, presented his research at an event in Baltimore for the American-based Before You Act in 2011. Before You Act lists its aims as supporting and promoting a science-informed understanding about people in our communities with an attraction to children or adolescents on its own website. Let's be clear what this is. This organisation is a pro-P organisation. We used to have this in Britain. It was called the PI in Britain, the P Information Exchange. What it's trying to do is to normalise this foulness, this disgusting attraction that these people have. It wants to normalise it. It wants to put a P into the LGB letters, and it's sort of it's just full of sad, weird, evil people who want, they're filth, and this group wants to promote and help them, and he turned up and gave a speech there to say, look, I'm doing a science thing here and I'm looking to help you and that. Dr. Breslow's presentation, titled S Alignment, Critiquing S Orientation, the P, and the DSM-5, appears to criticise societal understanding of Ps. So what he's doing, he's standing at this conference full of Ps and P apologists and P supporters and all of those that are pro-P, and he's saying, yeah, look at the way society looks at you now and the way that science judges you now is entirely wrong, and I'm going to try and prove that it's all wrong and that you're all jolly decent fellows who deserve to get off on this shit. And this is the guy that is one of those running this charity. This charity that I have been saying all along is a direct danger to children. And here he is. Let's have a look at this thing. I'm not even going to grant him anything. Here he is. Let's make sure we know exactly what he looks like. He's a trustee of this charity. This charity that I have said all along is a danger, that does not represent children, that harms children, and that everyone involved in it should be on a register. And he certainly should be. That one definitely needs to be on a register. Just look at him and then make sure you keep your children well away from him. Let's make sure his face is well known. So Before You Act describes itself as a group with a unique collaborative effort between minor attracted people and mental health professionals. Now, let's not make any bones about this. Minor attracted people is the euphemism they would rather we used because it doesn't sound as bad as the P word. But they're not minor attracted people. They are dangerous, sociopathic child predators. They are the lowest of the low. They are the worst of the worst. They need to be gelded. They need to be prosecuted. They need to be watched. But they like to call themselves minor attracted people now because it doesn't have the stigma that P has. It hosted a scientific symposium in Maryland in 2011 with concern raised over how P was addressed by American academic journals at the time. Let me tell you, it was not a scientific symposium. There was no science involved. All it was marketing to try and remarket the P as something family friendly. They are not family friendly. The Times yesterday reported Dr. Breslow, who works for the LSE's Department of Gender Studies, was made a trustee of Mermaids this year. The transgender charity, which has been mired in controversy in recent months and was criticised by, God bless her, J.K. Rowling herself, told the newspaper it was unaware of his appearance at the 2011 conference. Well, I'm hoping that not only has he gone from this charity, but I hope this is enough to actually destroy this charity now. That everyone who sat there, and I'm looking at you, Emma Watson, I'm looking at you, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, over there in America trying to be famous and yet being absolute little slimy turds. I hope you realise that these are the people you are backing. All these celebs who are going, oh, mermaids, oh, we've got to stand up for mermaids and the gender there. You're backing the Ps. You are backing the Ps. Well done, you. Rowling carried it, and she said all along this was a danger to children. She was right. Now, that guy not only needs to lose his job there, he needs to lose his job at the LSE. Or is the LSE going to be backing a P? And, and that tells you exactly the sort of people the LSE are. Because the LSE, let me tell you, is a Marxist bloody organisation. Oh, look, there they are. Friends of the P. Fellow travellers. They like them, don't they? Well, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't surprise me that those two are friends of the Ps. Well, his uncle, certainly. He's got an uncle who is a bit of a nonce, hasn't he? Mermaids has also received some 500,000 in national lottery funding. That needs to be given back. And more than 20,000 in government grants. That needs to be given back, including being hired by the Department of Education. Now, this is dealing with schools, remember, to provide training on gender identity in schools. So this government has actually been paying this organisation to come into schools and get close and get down with the kids. And this organisation, full of the Ps, friends of the Ps, I think we've finally reached the end of the mermaids. I think it's time that they were served up on a plate and, you know, done. They're done. Nobody can now back them seriously. And I would like to see somebody ask those two feckless wonders that have decided to go and live in America, the duck and duckess of Sussex, what they think of mermaids now. That'd be interesting to hear, wouldn't it? Will they be, still as enthusiastic about destroying children as they once were, or or does it mean nothing to them? Anyway, in 2020, it emerged that the charity staff had carried out training in 40 schools across the UK in which they use a graph to explain the gender spectrum. No, you don't need a graph. You need a line and go male, female. Anyway, last week, Mermaids was facing scrutiny from regulators after they were accused of giving chest-flattening devices to young girls against parents' wishes. I did a video on that. I've done a video on them before. I mean, I'll put a couple of videos in the links. They'll be up there when you see the screen. Well, one up there, one down there. I'll put them in and you can go and have a look at them. But I've been saying all along that Mermaids, dangerous organisation, should be nowhere near children. We've now proved it. The timing is perfect. Anyway, I'm going to done with that. I'm going to come up, round off, and then I'm out of here. Blimey. Can any of us say that we're at all surprised by this news? It was certainly, in my mind, always the way it was going to end. When you're dealing with disturbed or, vulnerable children, these kind of places, especially when they're not run by medical professionals, but I mean, in this case, an IT professional, it was always going to attract predators, those that would harm children in that way. So I'm not surprised. I'm just surprised it's taken this long. But now finally it can be broken up. It can be seen for what it is. The light has been well and truly shone in the dark places, and we can expose these dangerous people for what they are. After all, the person who runs it had to take her son out of the country to do the operations to mutilate him that would be illegal in this country because of the safeguarding we have. So when you're getting people like that, of course you're going to attract the predators. Finally, the nightmare is over. Thank you for listening. And if you like what you're seeing here on the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Ring the bell for notifications of future output. Leave a like, leave a comment on this one. Please, please, please share the video. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, safeguard your children, and goodbye.